What's up everyone? Welcome back to the channel. This will be a little bit different of a review than I normally do of a new Planeswalker. We're doing Jace The Perfected Mind this time. The reason I'm doing a different type of showcase here is because Nalthazar and Planeswalker Coach did much more thorough reviews of his abilities and decks you can build for him in Standard. And yeah, they just did a much better job of that than I really cared to do at this moment because they had pretty favorable reviews. And, you know, it's pretty nice to have differing opinions in the space of content creation for this game. And if you guys aren't subscribed to Planeswalker Coach here on YouTube yet, give him a follow. He's got different opinions than the rest of us. And, you know, it's just always nice to have more voices in this community. And so that it's not all dominated by the three of us main content creators. So I'll put a link below in the description of this video. But anyways, okay, so this video is going to be more geared toward veteran players who have complete or almost complete collections, because I'm going to show you how to go through Skoti Bloodlines with Jace The Perfected Mind. Mono blue tends to be my favorite color to use for that event. I have a few decks saved for Jace Mirror Mage and Teferi Master of Time, and just for fun I thought, well, let's see. There are things I like about Jace The Perfected Mind, and I think that he can be pretty strong in Legacy for these niche events. And I'm big on having Planeswalkers and Planeswalker decks saved specifically for recurring events like this. Since we're on a 2-week rotation, it seems like, for all the events that are currently being ran, it makes sense to buy Planeswalkers that can handle each of those nodes in an easy and effective way. So that's what we're going to do here. Here we are. So this is going to be for the left node of Skoti Bloodline. As you can see, I've got a lot of different cards that will help me hit objectives here. I replaced Startled Awake in this deck with Sten because it's a legendary creature, so it's going to be a historic card that will help me hit that objective. Historic cards are legendary cards, artifacts, vanguards, and I believe enchantment sagas as well. So you just need to cast 10 of those and hit our loyalty abilities 3 or more times to hit objectives here. So the thing about Jace, his abilities are his first ability is a little bit more expensive than a few of the other Planeswalkers that I've used in this event before, but with all the green gem conversion, I don't think it'll take a long time to hit that objective. So I grab Omen Keel. Prisma Ray is a really good card because it will disable creatures when you hit a landfall, or when either Planeswalker hits a landfall. So it's good in that way. Storm the Vault is another historic card. It's actually, yeah, a legendary card, which is kind of interesting. I think it's because it transforms into a legendary land. And then Urza, Lord High Artificer, fantastic mana generator because of all the gem conversion, and it's a legendary creature, so that's going to help with objectives. And then I'm just hitting the loyalty ability. It's not really doing much for me right now unless I hit more of those Phyrexian gems, and that will kind of help fuel a couple of cards in my hand. But I'm mostly just hitting his loyalty abilities to hit the objectives. The best loyalty ability he has is his third one, which floods the board with Phyrexian gems and then uses those gems to calculate how much mana you're going to generate when you hit that third ability. So most of the time it ends up filling your entire hand with mana, which is awesome because you're going to guarantee having at least 5 cards in your hand at the beginning of each of your turns. So we're already at 7 historic cards casted, and we already hit the loyalty ability. So I don't really need to bother with that, with spamming that loyalty ability unless I want to. It's not going to help me much unless I get to a point where I don't have my mana generators on the board, so I can just use its third to get there. But River's Rebuke is going to send everything that's not a land back to their hand. So that's a great board wipe. It's a staple card that I've been using in Legacy since it first came out. One of my favorites. And it's just anything other than Vanguards, it doesn't get rid of either. So that's another thing. The Vanguard, I don't really worry about the Vanguards that they play unless they happen to put a Tibalt on my side of the board, and that's where I use my loyalty abilities to send the Tibalt back over to them. It tends to be the one that they use the most, I believe. That Tibalt Vanguard, they put it on your side, and it can wreck your day if you end up putting some giant creatures on the board for you. Okay, it looks like I hadn't hit that loyalty, or I hadn't cast every card I needed to. So I'm going to put that Teferi on the board, and that's going to get us to full objective points. So from there, then we don't have to worry. We can just cruise along to the victory. Oh yeah, Lawan Cephalid Princess, another basically a creature wipe for their side when I cast it. Great creature, great defensive creature. Oh shoot, they got rid of it, but it's not gonna matter at this point in the game. I'm so in control of them. But yeah, they put a Tibalt on my side, so I need to get rid of that. I don't remember if I did that. Yeah, I did it here. I just hit that second ability, which doesn't do a lot, to be honest. It's not much. It's not a very strong ability. You kind of have to build for it to make it more effective. At least the debuff is permanent, but I mostly did it to get the Tibalt back onto their side. See how the little black Vanguard on the bottom left corner of the board, the little shield count used to be facing my side, and now it's facing theirs, so that means I transferred it over to them. And I stole an Atraxa from them with that Tibalt ability, so that's kind of cool. Though I don't really need that Atraxa, but it has lifelink, so might as well keep it around. And then yeah, another Rixmethist got it to enough shields to give me a 12/12 buff, and he's got nothing. See how that Sten, I'm constantly breaking those blue activate gems, which is further reducing everything in my hand's cost. Just makes it very easy with all the card draw that he has built into him, all the gem conversion I usually do, and then with that Sten ability, it just makes it so much easier to hit that objective. So pretty easy match there, and they're not usually that much more difficult. So let's move on to the next node. This deck makes easy work out of the objectives. You should have no problem. All you gotta do is just get your cards on the board. and then choose Prismatic Bridge, and that's just going to keep pulling out your other cards, your other creatures, and your Teferi Vanguard, and you should just be able to breeze through. Okay, they got an Urza themselves. All right. Create. So, okay, so hit his first ability. We got Prismatic Bridge down. Platinum Angel. That's an interesting deck he's got going on. But we're going to try and get River's Rebuke down as soon as possible. Though I'm not too worried about it. If I could get this other thing down first, this Erixmethus, I'm fine with that. I'm not even sure where the Platinum Angel just went. What happened there? Sten is great because it's going to reduce all of your card costs by how much is it? I always forget. By 3. And with all the blue conversion, you're just going to be popping those blue activate gems all the time anyway. So you're going to pretty reliably keep reducing the cost of your cards down. So that's always fun. You can grab another Prismatic Bridge and get until I get Urza down. Let's see where we're at with objectives. Yeah, see, I already hit objectives easily. I wasn't even paying attention. Prism Array, along with his passive ability and Prism Array, you're just going to be having your hand filled pretty much at all times, basically. It's a great thing when you're starting your next turn with all the blue conversion that's happening here. Starting with a handful of cards that you're just going to automatically be filling with mana because of all the blue conversion just makes this Jace such a no-brainer to use for this event here. And for this deck, really. Even if you end up using this deck for other events. You probably could. That Insidious Will is a big deal. It really helps to slow your opponent down while you hit the other objectives here. And then River's Rebuke is always good. Totally not necessary to hit that third ability, but you could see what it does. Anything that doesn't end up having mana, I mean, I would have probably filled the rest of my cards with mana, even if I didn't hit that third ability. But I thought it'd be fun just to show you. Just use that River's Rebuke, threw it all back at him, no problem. Easy battle. I don't know. Did I even take any damage that whole entire battle? I don't think I did. Sometimes you run into this in this event, Hasty Koth or a Nissa Worldwaker that's gonna maybe have you take some damage while you set up. But by the time you get everything down, you're pretty much in control of the event and of the match. So let's go on to the next match. All right, this time we move on to the right node, which personally I think this is the most troublesome node for me because of the assault objective, deal combat damage 10 or more times during a single fight, that really makes you play a certain type of deck or play style to make sure that you hit that objective. Only thing is that the only difference I had to make in this deck is changing out for a double striker, which is easy to get out there. So the problem is just winning too quickly before you hit the objective there. So unfortunately, Sten is probably not going to do a lot for me in terms of getting getting that objective, but it will help with getting everything else on the board. You got to be careful with Urza using him too much, because what ends up happening a lot of times is you pump up your creature in your first slot too much, and then you end up doing too much damage to your opponent before you're able to hit objectives. Ajani is actually kind of a nice planeswalker to fight in this battle because he has so much life and so much ways to gain life that he's actually going to help you stall to hit objectives before you have to go in for the kill. So he's really annoying to face, but with River's Rebuke and Prisma the Teferi Vanguard, you should have enough untargeted removal to deal with most of your threats here. So we're just going to start chucking a lot of the stuff out of our hand for now because we don't need it, and we want to get to our Disciplined Duelist before we win here. It'll just make things easier, speed up our objectives being met. That Insidious Will really helps slow him down. Sometimes he gets like that giant white gem cascade so that he can still cast a bunch of cards after even being slowed down by the Insidious Will. So that's the only issue I sometimes have fighting a Johnny in this event. But besides that, this deck has a lot of answers for most things that are happening. That Prisma really coming through and giving us a bunch of cards. We got Storm the Vault now, so between Urza's Factory and Storm the Vault, we're just going to have tons of blue gem creation. And even though there are other planeswalkers that have better mana gains in blue, there aren't too many. And his mana gains in the rest of his colors are pretty weak, which makes him not so great for standard events, in my opinion. The blue gem conversion that you have in Legacy is gonna make sure that that's not a big deal. I mean, hell, you could use Nicol Bolas the Ravager in Legacy and be fine. That's how broken Legacy is. I started calling him Bolasses because he is slow to get going. Okay, where are we at with... Okay, so we still need to hit 2 more times. So instead of casting any more creatures, I'm just gonna keep them asleep in my hand and then just cast them when I'm ready to fulfill objectives. So yeah, we hit objectives now, so ready to win. I haven't even really been thinking about it. I just been chatting here with you guys virtually, you know what I mean. And just brainlessly going through this, and yeah. When I don't have to think about winning or hitting objectives, when my deck building takes care of that, I tend to make way fewer mistakes because I'm not having to be super locked in while I play, and therefore it just makes things easy for me to win and get full points. So there we go. That wasn't a particularly nasty Johnny that we came across there, but I think the results would have been the same either way if it was a tough one or not. So there you go. All right. So my final thoughts on him. I think he's probably around a C tier for me overall. He's not somebody I feel very excited about when I play him in standard events. When I think of mono blue planeswalkers, he's never going to be my first choice. He's probably not even going to be my second choice. Honestly, he's probably going to be more like my third or fourth choice for most things. If I'm even playing mono blue, which is not something I do a lot, I do love Teferi Chronoclast. I use him for certain coalition events when I need to play Total Lockdown. In Legacy, that's a lot easier to do than in Standard. So Mono Blue isn't really just something I use very often in Standard. So if you're looking for more options in Legacy, say you're playing all the different events, the weekly rotations, like I was saying, and you just want a solid Planeswalker to have a deck slot or two saved for those kind of things, he can be pretty good. Like I said, his passive ability is pretty nice. Having all those cards in your hand guaranteed, and then having all that blue conversion in the beginning of your turn to have them all filled up, that's pretty tough to beat. And then for anything that you don't end up filling up with mana, you just hit his third ability because you're going to be creating all this loyalty from all that blue gem conversion. So it's a really good engine for certain types of play styles in Legacy. So don't discount him for that sort of thing. Like I said, this video was mostly geared toward Legacy players who are completing their collection or have it complete. If you have the crystals to spare when he comes to the vault, you might like him for that. So, all right. Well, thanks guys for watching. I'm looking forward to what I hope will be a new set in the next few weeks, but time will tell there. Again, go check out Nalthazar's review on him for standard ideas and also Planeswalker Coach if you're looking for some more Magic the Gathering Puzzle Quest content to consume on YouTube. See you next time.